All right. I think we're good. This is live. You guys can hear me, please let me know. We'll get this started. Hopefully I remember how to do this. It has been like a month now. But finally back from no racing. Olympics were fun, but definitely prefer to have NASCAR on, that's for sure. And looking forward to the race tonight. I'm not sure if it's going to be fun, but I'm not going to complain. And I like short track racing because it tends to be a little bit more projectable. Will the new tire options, having the hard and the soft, throw a bit of a wrench into things? Maybe. But that is something I cannot really project. So if you had any questions for me that are asking about how the tires are going to affect DFS today, no idea. So I'm not going to lie to you like I do. I don't know how anybody could have any idea how it's going to affect. So you're pretty much just going to have to build for this being a typical Richmond race. I think the drivers will figure it out. I believe in practice, the soft tires, they start out quicker, but then they fade off compared to the harder tires. But not really something we can project. What's up, Andre? Says my loud and clear. All right. That means we are good to go. I will get to all the questions here. Nothing really changed for me since I did my breakdown video yesterday. I did do some pre-builds before I got on here. It's an evening stream, so I figured I'd at least build some lineups. I don't normally until after the stream. But I think it's obvious who you're building around up top. Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., those are your main guys, especially for Dominators. Whether that be DraftKings or FanDuel. I like them on either site today. I'm also getting to quite a bit of Kyle Larson, not having any problems really putting him in. Now, I kind of prefer doing two of those three compared to all three, but all three are viable in some lineups. Also getting a lot of Keselowski, good amount of Elliott, good amount of Logano, a good amount of Chastain, same with Josh Berry. I will be playing some Bubba Wallace. I like Chase Briscoe quite a bit. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Preece. Those are pretty much the main guys in my lineups today. So if those guys do well, I will have a good day. I'm sure most of you are on similar guys, but those are the ones that are jamming in my lineups quite a bit. I didn't mention Christopher Bell, but he is filtering in like 20-ish% of my builds, but nothing too crazy there. All right, let me pop up my stuff here. And I believe lock is at 6 on both sides. Green flag at 6:01. So gotta make sure. I still have to upload to my lineup, so gotta get out of here at least by 5:45. And Zan says, why'd you skip Gibbs in your preview? I don't think I feel like I grouped him in with another driver, but I do apologize, Zan, if I didn't even mention him at all. He's just kind of like right in the middle. Like, I don't know, he's not a bad play. He's not really a good play either. He's just right in the middle. All right, I'm gonna scroll up. I'm gonna get to every comment that I can. So if you have any questions, drop them below. I will get to them eventually. Gotta get to the dono first from Chris Jenkins, as always. Appreciate that. It says, with a 3-dom build, how far down are you going? John Hunter Nemechek or even lower? I do think John Hunter Nemechek is viable today at $5,400. Like, you're not expecting much, but I do have him projected for 4.8x, which is not bad at all. It's actually one of the better value plays of all the cheap drivers. Like, he's right in projection. I have Stenhouse, Preece, and Nemechek all projected within like an order of each other, so they're all right there. But Nemechek does have the best point per dollar value between them, but I'm fine with that. Other than John Nemechek, I don't really want to get too below anyone of that salary. They're all just, it's bad. If you're playing MME, you can sprinkle in like Daniel Hemrick and Harrison Burton if you want. But if I am playing single entry, 3 max contests, I have a hard time picking on anybody below $5,400. Appreciate the dono, sir. Dana Raider, first one here, says top 5 to win the race. My projections have that as Denny Hamlin number 1, Martin Truex Jr. number 2, Christopher Bell number 3. I know, big surprise. I think that's everybody's top 3 today. I'd be surprised if anyone else had a different top 3. And then after that, I have Chase Elliott and then Kyle Larson. And for those of you asking, or if anyone curious of the bets I have this week, I actually have quite a bit, but it only like accumulates to like 2.3 or 2.7 units total. So it's a lot, but they're in small increments of like sprinkles of bets. But I have a couple I made earlier in the week, which were William Byron outright at plus 1900. I don't like that bet. And then I have Chase Elliott plus 1400, which I do like now. And then this morning I added Elliott top 3, top 5 at plus 400 and plus 210. Or no, plus 200. And then I added Logano plus top 3 at plus 450 and top 5 at plus 210 and a Logano outright at plus 1400. Again, small sprinkles. This only adds up to like 2-ish units. So I'm just sprinkling because I'm not exactly sure how the tires are going to affect. Like if we knew that, I feel like I could go a little bit bigger on that. But that's what I felt comfortable with. So those are the bets I have, and probably wouldn't go much lower on the odds. But that's what I got. What's up, Johnny T? Says Chris. Johnny, glad to be back. What's your favorite cash plays to build over on FanDuel? Thanks a lot. And that's all cash this week. That sounds like a good idea. But my favorite plays over on FanDuel, if you were playing cash games, let me remove some of my settings here. I was doing MME. All right. So the guys that pop the most for me, if I am just running dry projections with no settings, anything like that, Hamlin's number 1. Surprisingly, Reddick's number 2. I'm not sure if I'd still call him like a cash play, but my projections really like Tyler Reddick on FanDuel. But outside of that, Hamlin, Keselowski, Larson, really just some of my favorite cash plays on FanDuel. I am considering in my SE, I'll tell you right now, in my SE, I'm not going to give the whole lineup away. I should probably stop doing that. But I have Hamlin, Larson, Logano, and then I do have a cheap driver in there. And 1 second. Yeah, I went down all the way to, I don't usually do this, but I went down to like a 4K driver on FanDuel for single entry, which again, like I said, I tried to avoid doing that, but I went pretty top heavy in my build because I think I have 4 guys in there that have race winning potential, or at least can all finish in the top 10, top 5. And I think the cheap driver does have an actual chance of getting a top 20 finish today. So I am going to roll the dice with it, but we'll see. What's up, Stan? What's up, Dan? Says, what are the optimal lineups on DraftKings and FanDuel? If that question can't be answered, what are your favorite core plays on DraftKings and FanDuel? Yeah, no problem, Dan. So if I'm playing on DraftKings, my favorite plays would be Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin. I mean, the Dominator points are just a lot more important over there. Obviously, they're my 2 highest projection plays over on FanDuel as well, but it's more of a difference on DraftKings. Like, for example, on DraftKings, I have Hamlin and Truex at like 180, 100 and then 80-ish. There's some decimal points and mixed in there for Hamlin and Truex, but then over on FanDuel, 86, 82, then the next driver, Larson, at 80, but over on DraftKings, I had the next driver at 59, so it's just a big drop-off for DraftKings and FanDuel there. But core plays on DraftKings for me, Hamlin, Truex, Keselowski, and then probably either Ryan Preece or probably have to be Ryan Preece because we're going to need a cheap driver mixed in there. Then on FanDuel, almost the same. It's going to be Hamlin, Keselowski, and then you don't exactly have to get down to Ryan Preece, but I really like Joey Logano over on FanDuel as well. I think he's fairly cheap for how well he runs at Richmond. Only $10,500. Pretty easy to fit in with the likes of Hamlin or Larson, whatnot, and still fit in Brad Keselowski. Dave Palma says, happy John Hunter Nemechek Day. I guess it is kind of a popular day for Nemechek. He should be played today, but I'm not sure how much I want to be a part of it. It usually doesn't end well. I'm sure he'll spin at some point. What's up, Matthew? Says, hey, Chris, if Hamlin leads like 150 laps or so, but finishes like 25th, will he still make the optimal lineup? Good question. Let's bust out the calculator here because I obviously don't have it simmed that way. So let's busting out the old calculator app here. So if he were to lead 150 laps, is that 0.25? That's 37.5 points in its own right. And then we have fast laps of that. I don't even know. If he led 150 laps, maybe he gets like 50% of those fast laps. It's still a pretty good day. Now, we are losing 25 points, but I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that doesn't happen where Hamlin ends up dropping on 25th. Obviously, something like that happened. Something crazy did if he already led that many laps. But that's something I'm willing to bank on. If you didn't add Dominator points mixed in, if Hamlin finished 25th, we were looking at minus 7 points. But obviously, you're going to have to factor in all those Dominator points that he should get. And you're still having a decent day. It'll depend on what like Martin Truex Jr. does. It'll depend on Kyle Larson. It's not just a single thing. Like, it'll depend on other drivers. Good morning, Stan. What's up, Andy? Good to have you back. Welcome back, Paper. Mike says, my strategy is to have at least 2 of Elliott, Bell, Hamlin, Truex in every lineup. Some have 3. Yeah, I would not be against that. I mean, if we're going to have to get at least 2 Dominators per lineup. I mean, those are really just the most likely guys for that to happen. So I have no issue with that whatsoever. Love all 4 of them. I guess in my order of likeness, and you can kind of base this off salary too, because obviously salary can become an issue at some point. I would have a Hamlin, Truex, Elliott, and then Bell. Pump it otherwise. What is my favorite GBP pivot on DraftKings and FanDuel? So the tournament plays I really like today are Chase Elliott and Joey Logano. Like, I'm not saying they're going to be 2% owned today, but they're not going to be nearly as high owned as guys like Hamlin and Truex. And then you also have Brett Keselowski in the mix, who's going to get some ownership there. So those are just really 2 of my favorite pivots. If you guys don't skip over the strategy part in my preview video that I post on Saturdays, showed some nice little bar charts there, green flag speed, and Chase Elliott. He has been the fastest driver in the data set that I was looking at, green flag speed wise. I'm not saying he's been the best, most dominant driver, but he has consistently brought speed at these track types. And then Joey Logano crushes Richmond, was great here earlier in the year. And I wouldn't be surprised if he is good once again. It's just, Richmond is one of those tracks, if you are good here, you're just typically good here. And Joey Logano checks that off his list. So those are 2 of my favorite higher end tournament plays. I also like Josh Berry in GBPs, and then Chase Briscoe, someone I'm getting to a lot of as well. And that works for either site. Doesn't matter. What's up, Ryan? Who are the 2 to 3 must plays for Doms and the 1 and 2 scrubs to focus on with potential upside or place differential upsides? That's what you mean? Yeah, 2 to 3 must plays for Doms. I mean, it's hard not to say Hamlin, Truex. You took a drink every time I said Hamlin or Truex today. You might end up dying by the 20-minute mark of this live stream. But then I'd probably add Brett Keselowski in the mix for must play. I think Keselowski's a great play. I don't really have him for any Dominator points, but if he can get off sequence, get some down points, and the caution goes his way, I mean, Brett Keselowski could easily crush this slate. And he doesn't even need that to crush. He could get 50 points just by battling for a top 10. And then the cheap plays I really like Ryan Preece today. I'm hoping he doesn't let me down, but his short flat track numbers do look pretty strong. And then Ricky Stenhouse, Henry Nemechek are the ones I also can get to, and they're only 5K, so it's not like they're like guys that have never sniffed the top 30 before. Henry Nemechek, a little bit more on the lower end, but Ricky Stenhouse, he could just randomly finish top 15. That wouldn't be too surprising. Yeah, Denny and MTJ would be my locked-in Doms for cash games today over on DraftKings. Haley, I'm not going to call must playing cash. If you end up landing on him, go for it, but don't believe in the practice speeds for him if that's what you're basing it off of. Darren says Larson, Chase, Briscoe, or Brett Keselowski, Chastain, and DK. Oh, for DraftKings. I was like, who the heck is DK? Jason Briscoe, Larson and Chase Briscoe, or Brett Keselowski and Chastain. I'll go with Larson and Chase Briscoe just because Larson has that like 100-point upside. I don't think Keselowski will have that this week. Got a donut from a man spread. Appreciate that. Is that a super sticker of a dog? I like it though. It says go Blaney. Yeah, I know Blaney. I mean, I'm sure we have our expectations though for Blaney at Richmond, unfortunately, but I think we get Daytona soon. I forget what track is after this. I actually have no idea. Yeah, no idea. Watkins Glen? No. I don't even remember if we've been there yet or not. It's been a long time now looking at NASCAR stuff, so still getting back into it. Appreciate the donut spread. And I'd say if Blaney gets a top 10 today, it'd be a good day for him. What's up, Rick? Says happy race day finally. CP and folks, glad we're back. Maybe Discord can get back to closer to normal. I don't know about that. Discord's always kind of crazy, but it does help having a race. And how much BK are you feeling today? I like Keselowski a lot. He is look at my exposures here. He is top 3 in ownership for me. I mean, it's chalky, but it's Hamlin, Truex, Keselowski for me, but I'm just really hammering them. I think they're great plays, so I'm going to play them. I will be overweight on some other tournament plays and maybe lower on some other chalkier plays, but those are the 3 I am hammering today. So I'm having a lot of Keselowski. FanDuel, there's a bit of a difference. So on DraftKings, he is a little bit harder to get to because the Dominator points are more important there, and starting 29th, it's just hard for him to get Dominator points. And there's always the chance he gets slapped. Now, hopefully that doesn't happen, but there's always a chance for that. And then on FanDuel, he is dirt cheap, $9,500, which I know it's the same price as DraftKings, but the pricing is way different over there. So very easy to fit on FanDuel. So I have almost 60% on FanDuel. What's up, Mom? Good luck to all you NASCAR fans. Let's go Logano. I'm with you on Logano today, Mom. I'm hoping he wins. We can both celebrate it. So, anyone going to the rear? Not that I have saw recently, but let me pull up Bob's Twitter. I guess it's about that time for something he would announce. Not seeing anything to the rear. Nope. He did post like 30 video interviews today. All right, it says to the rear, TBT at their pre-race checks. No tech as cars have impounded. Yeah, that's all I got today. So far. So if anyone, if some scrub goes to the rear, I don't care. But if someone like starting inside the top 10 goes to the rear, you can let me know. Parker says, what do you have Kess and Elliott projected at for DraftKings? I have Kess at 46.24 and I got Elliott at 44.03. Pretty close. Edge to Keselowski, but keep in mind, Elliott does have a very high ceiling if he can end up getting some Dominator points, which I obviously do have him projected for some Dominator points. I got him at 19.55 laps led, and pretty close to that in fast laps as well. So that equates to 11.05 Dominator points. But there's obviously room for more. I think let me check the sims here. And my simulation run, he had a max laps led of a little higher than that, around 30. It's just giving so much to Hamlin and Truex. I thought CP might be on time since it's been so long. Never mind. I'm sorry, Rick. I try. I told myself I was going to be on time today, but this doesn't usually happen. Other Rick says, your opinion on Bell, Barry Gilly, Hamlin, Logano, Priest on DraftKings? Looks like a good build. I like the Logano pivot for tournaments. Bell instead of Truex will make you different as well, and I think Bell has got very similar upside. They're not going to project as well, just naturally, but I don't mind that for tournaments. That's a pretty good GPP build. White House says, better finish, Bowman versus Blaney. I'm assuming that is Blaney for me. Yeah, I got Blaney at 10.72. I got Bowman all the way at 16.66. I feel like the odds on that would be drastically in Blaney's favor. Yeah, it was a long few weeks without racing. I enjoyed it just because I didn't have anything to do. It was just, I went to Ohio. Little mini vacay there, but definitely miss racing, that's for sure. What's up, RB? Please give me a driver you think will reach the top 3 today. Thank you. I mean, this is for betting purposes. The only guys I would bet on for top 3s today are Chase Elliott, Logano, and Reddick. Those are the only ones that show value for me. And keep in mind, those drivers, I have Logano finishing in the top 5 33% of the time, Elliott at 40%, or I'm sorry, that's top 5. I have Elliott 31%, Logano 24%, and then Reddick at 22%. It's just Vegas has that lower, so I'm a little bit overweight on that. Picking Lawyer says, getting the best hair on YouTube ready. You know it. Gotta get my scrambled hornet's nest ready. What's up, Daily Dynasty? Let's get it today on FanDuel. Would you be against fading Martin Truex Jr. and playing Byron and Larson? No, it's fine. Obviously, I have my fair share of Truex, but my main lineup does not have Truex currently. It actually went Hamlin and Larson. Didn't include Byron, but did go the Hamlin-Larson route. Jerry says I'm repping Team Pennell by playing Team Penske, Blaney plus Logano. That's one way to look at it. But I am not huge on Blaney today. I am with my mom here today with Logano. That's who I'm riding with today. Mike says I am more on fade Byron and Larson. I do like Larson quite a bit today. He'll be in a large chunk of my lineups. Not huge on Byron. I tried to jam him in. My projections don't like Byron very much, so I kind of had to force him in. But I tried to get like 10 to 15%. Just because practice was so fake. I mean, I don't really know how good or bad he is. So, I mean, he could surprise us. Like, he finishes 6th today. It's a good day on FanDuel. So I forced him in more. DraftKings a little bit tougher to get to because the Dominator points I don't think will be there. Yeah, about time, King. About time. 92 must start for FanDuel Cash. Yeah, I'd play Hamlin and Brett Keselowski to start on FanDuel Cash. What's up, grade A? 3 favorite drivers under 7K on FanDuel besides Priest. On FanDuel besides Priest. Under 7K, Chase Briscoe. Oh, that's DraftKings. I gotta pull up the Excel version of this because I can't sort it on Google Sheets. For some reason, I don't know why. Alright, below 7K, I have Michael McDowell, Daniel Suarez, and Todd Gilliland as options. So not too pretty. But I do think they are viable pieces. Larson for the win, says Jay Plaza. Let's go, Hendricks. Possible. I'm not going to rule it out. I have that happening, to be exact. 8.6% of the time. So I will agree with you. 8.6% of the time that Kyle Larson wins today. What's that, Jim? What's that, C. Mitch? Good evening, C. Pen. Been a minute. Let's go, Truex. Sure has. Sure has. But yeah, if Truex does not do well today, I don't know what to say. I know a lot of it's been very bad luck, but he's got to get it together today. He needs a good finish. Sirius says tires last about 30 laps and fall off hard. Yeah, the softer tires will. Siri went off. The softer tires will probably be quicker, and then they'll fall off quite a bit. The harder tires seem not to fall off as much. I remember just looking at practice. I mean, don't look at the practice times, but I think it was like Hamlin versus Truex. Something in my mouth. Sorry. Anyway, I was watching Hamlin versus Truex, and one of them started on softer, and they were faster early on. And I think it might have been Hamlin that was on the harder ones, and then it just kind of ended up leveling off eventually. And then Hamlin was faster over the course. I don't know if that was Hamlin or Truex, but same process. Truex is the fade. I mean, if I had to pick between Truex or Hamlin, I will pick Hamlin. But I do think Truex will definitely do some damage today at some point. Jim says, hi, Chris. I have 4 drivers I want to use. Barry, Gibbs, Priest, and Buescher. No, Gibbs and Buescher will keep you different. I do like Barry and Priest today. I personally don't have a lot of Gibbs and Buescher. I can't play everybody, so there's just some of those guys that are like, not projecting amazing. Probably can get away with not playing much of them at all. Lock at 5:59. Oh. I mean, that extra minute can come in handy sometimes. I've missed lock before by a few seconds. Bell, Truex, Elliott, Chastain, Jones, and Hocevar. How does it look? Thanks, Chris. I'm not like huge on Hocevar today. Hocevar, I mean, you just kind of have to hope he runs right around where he starts. That's like the only thing I can say because I can't really look at the practice data. Other than that, I mean, I like Bell. I like Truex, Elliott, Chastain. That all looks good. It just really comes down to how Hocevar performs. What's up, Searing? Says Elliott to finish in the top 3 at 4-1. I do like that. I bet it personally, not a lot, but I did bet it. Chase Bowman says thoughts on Chastain and Briscoe. I'm fine with both. Chastain, I am just playing because of the price point. He'll naturally fall into lineups. He's really cheap. If he just finishes 15th, it's not the worst thing in the world. And Chase Briscoe, I like his short flat tracks. Hate him at intermediates, but at a track like this, I will play Briscoe. So I'm in on both. Gary says Priest, Briscoe, or Gilliland. If pricing doesn't matter, I'll take Briscoe there. Haley. I don't have Haley predicted amazing. I got him for 4x value, so it's not like he's complete garbage. But I do have Gilliland, Nemechek, Priest, Stenhouse predicting a little bit better, and they're cheaper. That's probably why I'm not getting to as much of him. He's fine. I mean, just don't wreck the car and you'll probably finish 28th, I guess. Logano or Byron? I will take Logano. He is just so good at Richmond. Am I still good with Austin Dillon? Yeah, I don't have a ton of him, but my Sims did like him over 10% of the time. So I think he's okay. Like, he'll be in the mix for cheap plays. Because if anyone tells you they have a strong lean on these cheap plays, I don't really see how. But I gave Austin Dillon a 17th place finish. And I did give him a little bit of downer points mixed in just because he's starting close to the front. You never know. I mean, I didn't do it manually, whatever this is like. But I gave it 3.87 X value, 22.43 points. Like it's all right. He's only $5,800. It's not like you're paying 7K for Austin Dillon these days. And there's always the chance he can hang in the top 10. Reddick thoughts? I think Reddick is a better play on FanDuel. Surprisingly projected better than I initially thought he would. I gave him 5-ish Dominator points, 9.5 for the projected finish. Like, he's okay. 41 points, roughly. Not going to kill you. It's not like a standout play, though. But over on FanDuel, he's cheap, and he does project better over there. Happy Sunday as well to you, Charles. Glad to be back. My bet is on Busher tonight. I think he's going to run well. Winning might be a little bit more difficult. I have Busher winning 4.2% of the time tonight. So not impossible, just unlikely. Is Bubba a good play today? Bubba is a tournament play that I am not completely against. I have him projected to finish around 13th, which if you put that in DFS perspective, it's around 4x. Like if you have above a 4x DraftKings value when you're looking at like projections and stuff for me, like you're in the player pool. Anything below that, you're starting to push it. Like I have Bowman at 28.98. That's 3.37x. He's just probably not going to make my lineups today. So Bubba is in the mix. And with him starting in 8th, there's always the chance he can steal more fast laps than I haven't projected for. I gave him around like 5-ish, but it looks like him and Reddick have some decent speed. So if he can hang within the top 10, like he is certainly viable. It's just going to depend on what guys like Josh Berry do and Ross Chastain in that similar price range. Because if Josh Berry comes out and actually gets some serious Dominator points and he doesn't wreck out, he finishes in the top 10, that'll be a difference maker than Ross Chastain if he finishes in the top 10. That's what's going to make him better than Bubba. It really just comes down to a couple factors there, but he is definitely he's in the pool for sure. But there is risk, starting in 8th, of course. What's up, Brian? Says, is a good cash start Hamlin, Truex, Chastain, Haley? Yeah, that's fine. Again, I don't really have a strong stance on Haley, but the first 3, Hamlin, Truex, Chastain, is 100% okay. I think that's what a lot of people will do as well. Confidence on Bell finishes top 5. Well, I have him finishing top 5 42.5% of the time, which if you equate that to odds, that's plus 135. So that is my confidence on that happening. Almost the coin flip, not quite there though. I would say in a vacuum of a clean race and guys finishing where they're supposed to, he should finish top 5. But I think we all know things can happen in a NASCAR race. What are your top outrights tonight? Thank you. So I have Elliott at plus 1,400. I don't think you can get that number anymore, but I show value up to plus 975 for Chase Elliott tonight. And then I have Logano at plus 1,400 as well. So those are my 2 bets. I have outrights. I did bet earlier in the week for Byron at plus 1,900, but that's not a good bet at this point. And there's nothing else I'm showing value on as far as outrights unless there's another book that I'm not looking at. But, if you ever want to reference all my fair odds, you know where to find this stuff. Got the entire sheet there. Am I playing any Truex today? Yes, absolutely I am. Got to place a good chunk of Truex starting in the front row. He's pretty cheap relative to what he could do. And it's Richmond. I mean, the guy just crushes here. Melissa says, for single entry in DraftKings, would you still pick Hamlin and Larson or Hamlin and Truex? It depends a little bit on the route you want to go. I think you're going to need at least 2 Doms. It doesn't necessarily have to be Hamlin and Truex. If you go with a Hamlin and Larson route, I wouldn't mind throwing in like a Chase Elliott as your second Dom there, because Larson's starting at 15th. He's going to have some work to do. Or Joey Logano. You don't have to play both of Hamlin and Truex. And if you are playing single entry, getting away from one of those guys, because they're both going to be extremely high owned, is probably a smart way to go. So Hamlin plus either like Elliott, Logano, and then Larson if you want to do that. I'm saying that's the exact route you have to go. That's just an option for sure. Dwayne says, hey Chris, so glad NASCAR is back. Me too. For DraftKings single entry, Hamlin, Truex, Herbst, Gibbs, Haley, Elliott. Not sure how I feel about the Herbst there. Like, again, if some of these guys in the back, they're so cheap if they don't wreck out, which I'm not expecting really wrecks at all today, but just to say there's a few cars that wreck out. That could work out if you just completely nail your Dominators. So I'm not gonna say it sucks. The rest looks pretty good though. I'm just not that high on Gibbs. How much max should be left on the table after a single entry build on DraftKings? Like no more than 1,000. That would be very slight dependent, but for this weekend specifically at Richmond, when we have this many Dominator points, you're probably going to want to spend most of your salary. So I'd say if you're leaving over $1,000 on the table for DraftKings today in a single entry, I would probably beef up a couple guys for sure. Now, when we go to Daytona in a few weeks, I think it's soon, we can leave up to like $20,000, $30,000 on the table. So it really changes week to week. What's up, Pugsley? Nice to see you. Sirius says Hamlin is guaranteed to get a speeding penalty. Hope not. No such thing as guarantees, though, especially in NASCAR. If he does, I hope he does it after he leads 200 laps. Yeah, we are so back. Finally. Tom says, first time watching. Well, appreciate you being here, Tom. Hopefully I'm not boring you too much. What's up, Pedro? Nice to see you, sir. Not playing Larson or Keselowski. Well, it's gonna be it'll be bold, that's for sure. I can't say I'm doing the same, but I will have lineups that don't include them, of course. Favorite driver in the DraftKings 6K range. Projection-wise, that'd be Chase Briscoe for me. Favorite 2 low salary players. Stenhouse and Priest for me are the ones that project the best below 6K. Stenhouse and Priest. Not saying they're gonna light the world on fire tonight, but if they can move up a few spots, I think we'll take it. What's up, Daniels? Finally back, I know. Rough last couple weeks, great for best ball, keeping though. Oh, great for best ball though, keeping it simple today. 2 DOMs, exact, and trying to find my way into the mid-range, like Jones a lot at 6,200 too. Yeah, Jones is one of those guys that could probably sneak their way into a couple of spots, but yeah, 2 to 3 DOM builds for me. So it feels like we're pretty much on the same path there. I gotta do some best ball lineups at some point. I'll be using underdog, but I'm not really a big best ball person until the playoffs. I love playoff best ball. Season long, I don't know. I just don't like have my money tied up that long. Good move by underdog though. They get a nice free interest-free loan for half the year. So Johnny Z. But NASCAR is back. Elliot or Logano. Thanks as always. Tough question because I like both of them a lot. Projection wise, I have Chase a little bit higher, so I'll say Chase, but I really like both today a lot. Tom says I like Blaine today as a small dog play. For an outright, let me see. It's not the worst on my board. I am not showing value. I'm at plus 1858 for my fair value. I got him winning 5.1% of the time, so it's not like it's too far off the books. It's hard for me to trust him at Richmond, though. I mean, historically, it's not the greatest. Adam says Stenhouse or Priest, last man in. I will go with, I think I have Stenhouse like projected 0.19 higher, but I like Priest personally. I'll say Priest. Lana says looks like Michigan is next. That's right. That does sound right. Thank you, Lana. Appreciate that. Tom says, is this all DFS type stuff or you talk betting? It's mainly DFS, but I do throw betting in there because I do it myself. And if anyone has a question for it, but it's mostly DFS centered. It just depends what questions I get. You guys make the show for me. What's up, Tim? Race day. Who you liking outright tonight? I'm behind in the chat, so I'm sure you already know, but I have bets on the ones I like right now. Elliott plus 1,400, and then I have Logano plus 1,400 as well. 0.3 units on both, just sprinkle. And then I have their top 3s and top 5s too. And that is it. But just sprinkles, because I don't know exactly how these tires are going to play out. I'm not going to go too crazy. What's up, Hunter? Nice of you to be here. Hopefully you got your 20 max done by now. I gotta upload mine, but I do have it. I have it done at least. We can compare some notes after in Discord. What's up, Aaron? DK single entry? I can't build you a lineup, but I'd probably start with like Hamlin, then mix in either Logano, Elliott, Keselowski, probably 2 of those 3. And then build down from there. Ryan Priest is a fine cheap option. Ricky Stenhouse, something like that. Army says I bet Chase Elliott top 3, Truex top 5, and Logano top 10. plus I'm assuming outright at 1200 because Logano top 10 plus 1200. That would be the lock of the century. I am with you on the Chase Elliott top 3, and I do have some Logano bets, but I did not personally get to the top 10. But I wish you the best of luck, Carmi. Wallace or Barry? Projection wise, I have a Barry. It is pretty close, but Barry does have some more Dominator upside. And I think this is a great kind of track for Barry. A lot of risk though for where he's starting. How do I feel about Herbs? Can he shot a little today with the new ride rumors? I wish I could tell you how I felt about these scrub drivers, but when practice data means absolutely nothing, I really don't have anything to base it off of, especially for a guy that's not a full-time Cup driver. He's in the 15, and that's really all I can say. We do have 2 races for him this year. Average running position of 35th. So, yeah, he's been crushing it. But, yeah, I really have nothing to say on him. I hate to be so vague on it, but I don't know what I'd tell you other than he's probably not going to be fast. He's in a Rick Ware car. I think he probably finishes around where he starts. I mean, he's really cheap. Like, if he is the last piece fit, you love the rest of your lineup, and you have all Dominators and things like that, and you nail your Doms, it's probably not going to matter much what Riley Herbst does at that point. That's really all. I really can't say anything else on him, though. I haven't projected to finish 33.03. So, is what it is. It's 13.16 points. What's up, Mundo? Who are your best place differential drivers and sleeper Dominators? Best place differential drivers today: Larson, Keselowski, Ross Chastain, Chase Briscoe. Probably my favorites. And sleeper Doms: Elliott Logano, Barry. Probably the first ones that come to mind there. Clint says hit the like button. I agree. It's easy to do and it does help me out. And it's free. Colin says, podcast posted no one to the rear today. Awesome. That makes things easy. We don't have to change anything. Who do you think will finish top 3 today? I mean, projection-wise, that is Hamlin, Truex, Bell for me. Would I bet on either? No. Paul says, any top 10 plays with enough EV to bet? I like that you added the last part there, Paul, because people usually just like bet top 10. Like, yeah, you should finish top 10. But it's like, you really got to keep in mind the odds. But no, I personally have nothing. Top 10 odds in NASCAR are pretty much a scam these days. Like, the odds they offer are just terrible. Nothing is ever going to be as worse as what I saw at the Chicago Street Race when SVG was like minus 1,400 for a top 10. That's insane. But we don't have a situation like that this week. I see like minus 475 for like Hamlin and Truex, which implied that's around 82% of the time, which is not crazy. I have them at 78% and 72% respectively, but not getting quite there. So no top 10 bets from me. That's not to say there's no good bets. It's just the way I do the Sims. I mean, other people can do it differently, but it's just the way I do it. Kyle says, last man in, John Nemechek or Ricky for a single-day tournament. I will go with Ricky. Both are quite the characters, though. Thoughts on Jones? Keep clicking on his name. Am I going broke? You might. I usually prefer Eric Jones at the larger tracks. He just tends to bring more speed at those. Look at his numbers at Richmond in the next gen era. 25th for his average finish. 23rd for the average running position. We have 1 top 20. And if we expand this to a 14 race sample size of similar tracks, it gets a little bit better. 6 top 10s, 4 top 15s, usually around 21st. I mean, at 6,200, I don't think it's the worst play in the world. Does the Larson over Truex change for DraftKings? Is that like a head-to-head question for betting or DFS-wise? I might be in reference to something I said earlier. I don't remember what I said. I think I said on FanDuel I have Larson over Truex in my main build. Maybe that's what you mean. On DraftKings, I would have Truex. I just think there's more. Dominator points mean more over there. Any love for Bubba today? A lot of questions about Bubba Wallace. He might end up being higher owned than I thought he would. Any strategy today that may lead to him leading laps, chasing a stage win? That I don't know. That I'd love to know their strategy heading in. Unfortunately, I don't think anyone gets that information. But Bubba is not the worst play. Like, he is above the threshold for me that makes him playable. He's above 4x in my value column. So that it puts him in play for tournaments. Not a cash game play by any means. Clint says, hard to fade Truex under the lights. You're not wrong. You know, just the night race at Richmond really just screams Martin Truex Jr. It really does. Spread says, got my 2 Joey bets in. I'm with you, Spread, hopefully. I mean, I'm not the biggest Joey fan in the world, but I know you aren't either. This is a good track for him, though. What's up, Sean? I gotta give Sean a shout out. He won the Brick Kisser. I think that's what the contest was called last week for 25K. So, gotta give him a shout out. And he had to sweat out the stat corrections for like 20 minutes after. I don't know if you guys remember, but the stat corrections on DraftKings and FanDuel last week were crazier than the actual race. He says it's difficult to not 3 out of 3 Denny in the June bug. It really is. I mean, he is in such a good position. If he just doesn't screw up stage 1 and stage 2 is in a disaster class for when he comes down pit road, he's got the best pit stall. Like, in theory, he should be an amazing play today and hit over 100 fantasy points. In theory. So yeah, it would be hard for me not to as well either. Cindric or Briscoe on DraftKings. I will take Briscoe there, Maryi. Picking Lawyer says FanDuel, Larson, Brad, and Reddick. Just go back on the Denny thing. It's not like he's $11,500 today. He's only 10.7. Like, these guys are pretty cheap for being Dominators at Richmond. And pricing just overall very, very low, I think. I think we should definitely have some 11K drivers. All right, FanDuel, Larson, Brad, and Reddick, or Bell, Brad, and Ross. I'll go the Larson one. First one. Rose says, if I gave my favorite lineup, everyone would win this week. Just pivot off of it. Worst luck the last few races. I'm sorry about that, Ro. I'm hoping that changes for you. It always sucks being in a funk. Saw a donor from RaceFan22. I don't know why. Sometimes they don't show up. It's the $1.99s. I'm not... I don't know why. I don't set a threshold for things to pop up. They just... I don't know. But I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. It says, thoughts on Jones and Priest last 2 in. Thanks, man. I'm fine with that. I mean... Jones is just the guy that probably finishes like 23rd. That's okay for his price point. I did like Ryan Priest today. I short flat tracks. I'm fine with that. And I know you're a Joey fan, so I'm rooting with him. I'm rooting for him with you. I think like 50% of my questions are thoughts on Bubba, thoughts on Eric Jones today. I mean, just people want to play him today, I guess. But Bubba, fine tournament play. If I'm playing single entry, do I get to him? Unlikely, but I wouldn't talk you off of it. But I do Bubba exposure today. Like in 20 max, I'm playing like 15-20% for reference. That's on Jones. Just to find cheap play. Eric Jones or Priest. I will take Ryan Priest. AJB says, realistically, can John Hunter get a top 25? Yeah, I mean, once you get past a certain point, all these cars are really just the same in the back. And it just comes down to how they pit, how they come out of pits, and just random cluttering. They're really all the same. So if he's just on the right end of the cluttering at the end, Nemechek can get a top 25. But if we're talking just based off of speed, like you can't really look at the practice data. They're probably all about going to be the same speed back there. Just being honest. Thoughts on Austin Dillon, Austin Cindric, and Hocevar. I don't hate Austin Dillon today. Not on Cindric, not on Hocevar either. But I don't mind Austin Dillon. If he can finish in the top 15 with some fast laps mixed in, he is viable today just because of how cheap he is. Feel like you as well, Justin. Raphael says we've missed 2 weeks of NASCAR for that trash Olympics. Well, I do like seeing USA win. They won the medal count. Team USA basketball won, which was cool. The no allows getting the gold was pretty sweet too. But I'd rather have racing over the Olympics, that's for sure. Dwayne says, okay, I switched to Hamlin, Truex, Keselowski, Ricky Stenhouse, Haley, and Chastain from Hamlin, Truex, Herbst. I think that looks a little bit better, Dwayne. Just a little bit. I'm fine with that. What's the chalk today, Chris? The chalk today are going to be Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin. And then after that, I think it's all going to be pretty close between guys like Brad Keselowski, Ross Chastain. Cheaper guys like Stenhouse and Priest, I think, will get up there as well. I mean, you got to have some cheap guys for jamming and Doms. I would prefer Stenhouse over Eric Jones, but I'm just being honest. These guys are probably going to all look the same in the back. It just comes down to how we cycle in at the end. But with Stenhouse starting several spots further back, I'd rather just play Stenhouse. Carlston says, why did you stop doing MMA lineups? Need to start back up. MMA lineup? I think you got the wrong guy, sir. Now, with Andrew, DFS by the numbers, way back in the day during COVID, we did some MMA stuff. I did it with him. I hosted and stuff, but I don't ever do MMA content. Unless you're talking about a big throwback or you got the wrong guy. Aaron's thoughts on Suarez. Oh, yeah, Suarez is kind of just below the cut for me. I'm not really a big fan. Like, he is cheap. I understand if you get to him a little bit. I was showing him out there around 10% of the time, but it's nothing really too major. Thoughts on McDowell? Everyone going to Briscoe, but McDowell seems okay as a pivot. I definitely understand why people are going to Briscoe over McDowell. I would too, personally, just because if you're looking at the short flat track numbers, Briscoe, honestly, pretty good. If we're looking at Richmond specifically, 5 races, 4 top 20s, 3 top 15s. You're looking at Michael McDowell. We do have 1 top 10, but that's it. 1 top 20, and his numbers are overall quite a bit worse. There's 3 spots further back. They have been decent this year. But Briscoe overall is pretty strong at the short flats. It does have better overall numbers. Rest has probably been 8 years. I may say. Yeah, we did it like in 2020, 2019. It might have been before COVID, 2019. I don't remember. Yeah, it was 100% before COVID. That was a long time ago. So I'm assuming you got the wrong guy. But, yeah. Thoughts on Bowman? I'm not really a big fan of Bowman today, starting at 17th. Like, I just think there's better plays around there. $8,600. If he was in the 7K range, sure. But at 8K, I'd rather just play guys that have more upside, like Reddick, Busher, Logano, right in that price range. Gregson's really not getting too much love from me. I just prefer to play his teammate Chase Briscoe instead. Pretty similar price points on DraftKings. Mike says, my lineups are so chalky, I have to use Corey. Oh no. Let's be ready for him to make some stupid mistakes or decisions throughout the entire race. Coach says he's pumped for this. Shut up, Coach. That's a Discord thing. I don't actually mean it. But I know he's trolling. Tim says I thought Cindric top 10 looked half okay. Let me check what I got for him, Tim. Austin Cindric. Look, I am below. Like, I am not showing value on it, but it's better than a lot of them, actually. So they have Cindric at plus 600 for a top 10. I have it at plus 1287. So obviously I'm off, but not far off of some of these other ones. Like Keselowski top 10, I'm minus 21% leverage on that. So it could be worse, the Cindric one. Tito says Truex will log out. There's been a lot of logging out after those, Tito, but I'm hoping that's not tonight. Steve says, haven't heard you talk about Bell. Is he a bad play? No, he's not a bad play. If I haven't talked about someone, it's just because you guys haven't brought him up. Because you guys make the live stream show. I'm just here to answer questions. But Bell is a pretty similar play to Truex, and he will be like not half the ownership, but he'll be much lower owned than him, and probably half the ownership of Hamlin, if not more. So he is a pretty easy pivot. Plus, Bell has been a lot more trustworthy than Truex and a lot more dominant. But specifically at Richmond, I mean, this has been amazing for Truex. But I have at least 25% Bell today, so I'm not ignoring him. Yancey's 2 favorite FanDuel lineups are Larson, Keselowski, Logano, Priest, and Hamlin. I love that one, Yancey. And then second lineup, Elliott, Reddick, Briscoe, Truex, and Keselowski. I think those look really good. I have nothing against those, Yancey. Those look really good. Never fade Truex to the night race, says Dwayne. He does like his night races. Can't dispute that. So says, hi, handsome. Hello, miss. Happy race day. Glad you can make the stream. Hope you had a great leg day at the gym. I think I heard you walk in, so hopefully it was all well. Coach. Who are the highest on a DraftKings? Thanks, brother. I think it's going to be Hamlin, Truex, Keselowski, or Hamlin, Truex, Chastain. I think that's what it'll be. Hamlin, Truex for sure, though. Got done from Heater. Appreciate that. Says, give me some outright winners. Tell Oakley. Larson sucks. All right, I bet Logano. I think there's a fly on my face. It is bothering me. I bet Logano at plus 1,400 to win, and I bet Elliott at plus 1,400 to win. Those are the outrights I have, Heat. I do appreciate the dono, and hopefully your move to Atlanta is going well. Top 3 players. I am not answering that. Says, I hate to ask my man, but if you could even expand again on Jones, it's similar track type is what caught my interest in terms of fantasy points. Richmond 42, Martinsville 36, Darlington 36. Well, I wouldn't put Darlington really as a similar track. New Hampshire 49, Iowa looks bad, but all others. Yeah, I don't think Eric Jones is the worst play in the world. I prefer him at higher speed track. I wouldn't add Darlington into that though. I mean, Darlington's definitely a bit different. But looking at Jones, Richmond next gen, he is typically around 23rd, 25th, which, I mean, it's okay. And then if you're looking at a 14 race sample size, short flats, overall, it looks a little bit better. 21 for his average finish, 21 for his average running position. Like, he should be able to move up a few spots. Two says, what do you like best? 2 Dominators conservative route or 3 Dom and 3 mid-tier guys? If you are going 3 Dominators, I would try to get one of the cheaper guys. Like, I don't want to do Hamlin, Truex, Bell. I don't like those lineups. If I can go Hamlin, Truex plus like Josh Berry is easy, but like a Chase Elliott or Joey Logano, that can work, or maybe even a Tyler Reddick. But I don't like 3 huge names very much. $6,200 using the Briscoe McDowell bucket for me. No Stenhouse though, at least not right now. Yeah, I mean, I would have Jones below Briscoe and McDowell personally, but he is in that mix. Quick Shade says, feels so gross clicking Dylan. Oh, I know. I hate playing Austin. I never really do, but I think in a pinch today, it's not the worst idea. But again, though, not like the most confident thing in the world. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting so many Eric Jones questions. I was not expecting that. I feel like I should have came in here with an extensive report on Eric Jones. I wasn't expecting to talk about him at all, really. Randy says, I was in first place in the 25-cent FanDuel contest at the end of the race. After stat corrections, I ended up 6. Hey, 6 is still good, though. That's still good, Randy. But it does suck, like, going to first afterwards, 6 is rough, especially after the race. But I only look until after. Sometimes I'll look like halfway just to see what I need, and then I just won't look again until afterwards, and then I wait a little bit because I know there's stat corrections. Just especially if like some screwy stuff happens, like a yellow to finish the race, like we saw at Indy, or some wrecks. I mean, things are just going to change. So I'd recommend just waiting so your heart doesn't hurt afterwards. Avoid the stress. FanDuel is telling me I got to set my lineup soon because we lock in 30 minutes. Should be good, though. Not too many more questions, I don't think. Anybody ask you about Hemrick yet? They have not, Clint. And I'm hoping you just would have skipped over that. Hemrick, there's really nothing to say about these cheap guys. It's just if they luck into a top 25, that makes them viable. They're cheap in the 4K range. That's really all I can say. No Kyle Busch left for me. He has been so terrible at short flat tracks in the 8 car. I don't really see it changing much. Like, sure, he's starting 12th today, so at least they qualified well compared to how they usually do in 30th. And then Austin Dillon was fast too, but I just think it's likely he probably finishes around 10th to 15th, and I don't really think it's going to be enough. If you're going to play Kyle Busch, you do it on FanDuel because he's $7,200. On DraftKings, $8,200. I just don't really see him being a fast lap guy. It says, I understand the Stenhouse love industry wide feels forced. I mean, I don't force anything. I just look at what my projections give me. The projection I have him for, I have him at 27.3 points, and that's really not asking much. That's 25.46 for projected finish. Obviously, no Dominator points mixed in. You're looking at some of his numbers. Rookie Stenhouse. Well, and he's just dirt cheap. He's only $5,700. Like, starting 33rd, like, you don't have to be good to be a good DFS play today. If he just finishes 26, like, that is not going to kill you. He has an average rank position of Richmond at 24th. You're looking at short flat tracks in general. Average rank position of 21st. 8 top 20s, 3 top 15s. Like, is he going to finish 10th today? No, but he doesn't have to be good. I mean, just finish 25th, 26th, and as long as the other cheap plays don't like finish 12th randomly, it's fine. Like, I mean, I think he'll suck today, but all these guys are going to suck down low, and he just starts far enough back to where that's fine. I'm only playing him really on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I wouldn't. Elliot says tournament plays. I'll go with your first name, Elliot. Love Elliot today quite a bit. Love Joey Logano. I like Chase Briscoe a lot. Those are some of my favorite tournament plays. Maybe. Might. Oh, there's more questions than I thought. I'll have to speed through these, I think, a little bit. What's up, Kay? Who your cash plays besides Truex and Hamlin? Keselowski, Chastain, Priest, Stenhouse types. They're all fine for cash today. Ryan says, should you wear blue or black suit to a wedding? I would probably say blue. Isn't black more for like funerals? I haven't been to many weddings. I would assume blue though. A nice navy blue. No Truex slander, please. Hopefully we don't have to slander him later in Discord, Tito. Chase Elliott to win his group at plus 155. May not be the worst one. I don't know what his group is though. I haven't looked at any group bets. I'll look on DK to see if they have groups, but I can't even get it to load right now. I can't even get it to load. I apologize. What are your thoughts on Hamlin, Truex, Keselowski, Logano, Stenhouse? Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Yeah, I have no gripes about it. I think it looks really good. Like your Doms, love Keselowski, love Logano. Yeah, it's fine. You can play Gregson and Priest in the same lineup. I mean, I'm not actively trying to, but you can. This is one of those weeks where if you want to play two cheaper drivers, I think a lot of people will be doing that. Brennan says, Bell, Priest, Kes, Haley for DraftKings cash. I'll go with Keselowski and Haley. For a pump play, yes, you can play Haley. Good luck to you as well, Stan. Appreciate that. Who's your favorite AK play? I would have that as Reddick, my favorite AK play. Who says thoughts on 9,400 to 7,900? I feel like everyone is the same play other than Chase. From 94 to 79. Elliot Logano, like him, like Reddick, Chastain. Other than that, I don't really have much interest in the other ones. I think Elliot and Logano feel like the same play though. But no, I am not really trying to get to any 4K drivers. A lot of Herps questions. I've had way too many Herps, Eric Jones, and Bubba Wallace questions today than I anticipated. Didn't really have my full report done on those guys. But look, I don't really have any thoughts on Herps. We obviously don't have a track data for him. He's in a slow car. We know that. Practice data means absolutely nothing. So like he starts 34th. He's cheap. I am finishing 33rd. That's one spot gained. And there's really just not much to say about him. That's I like Chase Elliott a lot today. Been really fast at short flat tracks. Good in qualifying. He's cheap. Car looks good. Coca-Cola. I'm in on Chase today. Will Barry have lower ownership than Dillon and Turnings? No. Barry will definitely be higher than Austin Dillon. Barry is probably going to end up being decently popular today. I wouldn't be surprised if he was over 20%. Noah says Stenhouse is a good price for his potential place differential. Like, yeah, I don't think anyone thinks Stenhouse is like charging to the top 20 today. Like, he's probably going to be bad today. Things are going to cycle around. He finishes 27th. I guess we're all happy as long as we hit our DOMs. Does Chastain need a W? It's getting there. Certainly getting there, Barry. I like pairing Keselowski with Truex and Hamlin. mean, if you want to do that for cash games, even, like, I liked it a lot. Like, those are 3 of the best plays today, really. All right, Timothy. I'll get you on Discord probably very soon. I got to build my lineups too. But I'll check my DMs. Or in chat, whatever it is. Yeah, Dylan's going to be lower on the Barry for sure. Favorite play, I'd chase Joey and Reddick. For me, that'd be Chase Elliott. Feels like a stars and scrubs type of race. Byron, Hamlin, Bell, Chastain, Haley, and Stenhouse. Yeah, it's definitely starsy and scrubsy when we get these 400, 500 lap races because we're just jamming in those Dominators up top. Just naturally how kind of the builds will end up playing out. I would go Priest, Stenhouse, on LaJoy in that order. Sean's his thoughts on me making the fantasy baseball playoffs. I play you next week, Sean, so I'm hoping to kind of derail your momentum there. Favorite place differential plays: Keselowski, Chastain, Briscoe. Those are like my favorite. There's really not that many place differential plays today. No Blaney for me, but I will have plenty of Larson. Dustin Priest way better than LaJoy in my opinion. I'd have to agree with you there. He's 6 picks for today. I can't give you 6 lineup, or I can't give you a full lineup here. Last 3: Reddick, Briscoe, and Stenhouse. Yeah, I got no problem with that, Jason. Yeah, for a tournament. Reddick projects better than I anticipated heading into today. So, I don't mind it. Problem Alton. Bush finished top 10 today. I wouldn't plan on it. And then Priest and Jones. I'm fine with Priest and Jones. All right. I got to every question. Sorry if I had to kind of blitz through at the end, but I have some lineups to build. I don't want to miss lock. So I wish you all the best of luck. It was a fun stream. Appreciate y'all being here. I guess we're at Michigan next week. So that'll be fun. Should be a Larson and Hamlin battle if I had to guess.